Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to Anime King 2, and today I'm gonna be giving you part 2 of What If Naruto's Abandoned and Awaken at Kekkei Genkai. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto Was Neglected with Jushin sealed inside of him over on Anime King 3, and enjoyed that guys. And I also post a brand new episode over on Anime King of What If Naruto Was the Neglected Legendary Uzumaki, so go ahead and enjoy this as well guys. And remember, if you're new, to go ahead and click that red subscribe button, and yes, I indeed have 3 channels, Anime King 2, Anime King 3, which I post What If on every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support, and yeah, without further ado, with this we begin this new episode. Start the intro. So the last part we left off, we start off with Minato sealing the 9 tails inside of Naruto, as Kushina was in the hospital. She had survived the extraction of the beast. Some of the Uzumaki members were currently inside of Konoha as well, as Kushina was the head of the Uzumaki clan, as Minato failed to survive after everything, as the seal required his life as a sacrifice. Kushina had held on to Naruto as she promised that she would not make anything happen to him. 2 years passed after that. Things were terrible in the household, as Sarutobi was shocked when Kushina called him over to tell him what she and the clan was going to do, and not to mention they were going to abandon Naruto. The chakra inside of Naruto, the Kyuubi's chakra, wasn't reacting well, flaring up every now and then, and for the past 2 years she has been having nightmares of Naruto killing all the clan members, as she told Sarutobi that whatever that thing is, it killed her son and took over his body, as she didn't believe that Naruto was Naruto anymore, as Hiruzen was gravely disappointed in that. He was glad for once, as he wished he would never have to say something like this, but he was glad that Minato was dead, because if the man had saw what everything turned out to be after his demise, he shook his head. When they were leaving, Naruto thought that they just forgot him, so he started to chase after them. It was then that Anbu, with a Sharingan, placed a genjutsu over him, as Kekkei was the one that did it, as Naruto saw his family got murdered right in front of his eyes. It scarred the boy back then. Years passed as the villagers were trying to kill him once again, as he was known as a demon that killed the Fortagaya's legacy and took over his body. Hiruzen came there as he gave the Anbus the order for the people that tried to kill Naruto and put the boy in the state to finish them off. Naruto was brought to his mindscape because of that, where he met the fox, who spoke to him. The fox seemed rather calm than what he expected, as he was surprised, as she told him that she admired his courage through everything. He was able to withstand it all despite he having nothing to do with this, because he was an innocent bystander in all of this, and yet both of them were put in unfavorable situation, but she wanted to trade him. She was gonna reward him by helping him trade, as Naruto was grateful for that. In doing so, Naruto told the old man the exact thing that Fox told him, as Hiruzen knew that the council was gonna be talking a lot because of this, but he still do it. He got Yamato to take Naruto out of the village to train him until the time was ready for him to take the Genin exams to become a Genin. But on the day they were about to leave, the Kyuubi told Naruto to focus, as she will do it. As Naruto sped off as it was a flash, Yamato was shocked as Naruto was gone in a burst. He rushed back to the village and informed the Hokage, as Sarutobi was shocked to hear that. Years passed, there was nothing of Naruto, until he finally came back disguised as Kakashi, tricking the guards as he was able to flash into the village. As he went to the office, Hiruzen was shocked when he saw the boy, as he couldn't believe it, as Naruto told him that it was time he showed him the real him, not to mention he had a small fox on his shoulder. As Naruto transformed, and so did the fox. As Naruto was taller, he looked like he was in his 20s, as Hiruzen couldn't understand what the hell was going on, not to mention a beautiful woman was standing next to him. As Naruto told Hiruzen that it was a long story, So yeah guys, basically that's what I thought you guys can switch across and please check it out for yourself. So this is this new episode. Both Yamato and Sarutobi were shocked. Couldn't believe in what they were hearing, as Naruto told him that this young woman was the Kyuubi. As I said, right now I'm too tired to tell you the entire story, but I promise I'll tell you everything in fine detail tomorrow morning. But to answer the quick questions, because of the fusion of my chakra and the Kyuubi's chakra, I had to become what humans call a Henyu, a half-demon because of the merge of our chakras, said Naruto. And yes, this is a Kyuubi, as most humans refer to her, but her name is Natsume. As Sarutobi's mind could not process how this was happening. Naruto, just how is this a Kyuubi your father? Seal her inside of you. If she's out, that means she can go on a rampage. And Sarutobi didn't finish a sentence as he got himself ready. As you describe my freedom in this form, yes, you are correct. I could go on a rampage and destroy this pathetic village, Natsume said. Man, stop scaring Gigi, said Naruto, as he stepped behind her and wrapped his arms around her, as she leaned into his embrace. Okay, Naruto-kun, just because he's one who's precious to you. Both Sarutobi and Yamato quirked the eyebrow at the affection the two just showed each other. Wait, said Yamato, are you two? He left the question open. And if so, how is that even possible? Naruto simply smiled as he hugged Natsume closer. That is part of the story, so you have to wait. I'll explain everything tomorrow morning, around 9 AM. Oh, and I don't want any unwelcome guests. I just expect you two to be here, said Naruto. So, I'll see you guys then. Until then, I wish you a good day. Naruto, wait, Hiruzen said, as Naruto looked like he was about to leave. There's something you should know. After your disappearance, the ignorant villagers held a week-long celebration of you being gone. Word got out to the younger generation, they know who you are. So even though most people think you're dead after so long, they still know that you're the Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi. So things are gonna be different here, Sensei. It's okay, Gigi, said Naruto. Even if they didn't know already, they would know soon enough since I'm back. I'm not saddened to be Natsume, jailer, said Naruto. It's given me opportunity to be something great, said Naruto as he smiled to himself. Plus, she's a great sensei. I learned so much from her that I never would have with any other sensei, as Natsume had a small blush across her cheeks. But since that fact remains, I will keep up a transformation so the villagers do not know I've returned yet. As he released her, as he brought his hand up, there was a poof. As his ears that were pointy returned back to normal, and his tails reverted back. His eyes turned into normal pupils, but they were still purple. And he also had a mask over half of his face, and his uniform was back to the standard Konoha color. Even the Namikaze symbol was replaced with a swirling red swirl on the back. Natsume transformed back into her small fox form as she jumped on his shoulder. I'll be back at 9 AM tomorrow, old man, said Naruto. If you need me before then, I'll be at my dad's estate. As he walked towards the door, alright, Anvu, he said, as a purple flame came over his body as he vanished in a Shanshin that left behind a few purple sparks. Sarutobi sat down as he rubbed his temple. The boy's disappearance had caused a lot, but there was many villagers who were happy that the boy was gone, thinking that he was a demon incarnate himself. But now that he was back, things were gonna change. Meanwhile, Naruto walked down the streets. It was still early in the morning, so there wasn't many people around as he was making his way towards his dad's compound. He looked at a few sights that were new to him, and the ones that he missed. But his short stroll came to an end when Natsume poofed out of existence as Naruto turned the corner, looking toward his shoulder as he bumped into someone. Hey, watch where you're going, a female voice said. Sorry about that, I wasn't paying attention. Hey, let me help you with that. As he crouched down with an apologetic look as he helped the woman with her bags. Some of the groceries had spilled out. I should make you pay for all of this, you know, she said with a sigh. As one thing remained as both of them reached towards it. As her hand touched, making the woman finally looked up at the man that she bumped into. Her eyes went wide. Hey, it's you! As Naruto looked up fully, realizing who it was. She was wearing a doctor uniform. It was slightly greener though, to show that she was a veterinarian. Her ninja headband was wrapped around her neck. Wow, Hana-san, well, it is certainly a surprise to see you out this early. How have you been since we last saw each other, Naruto said, with a chuckle. Oh, so you remember what you look like, Natsume teased, as she was speaking to him through his mind. Well, what can I say? The saying is true. We all like a little animal in the opposite sex after all. And who have we met that is more animal than her? Plus, she was quite cute back then, and she has only grown more beautiful. Hell, even you said that she was beautiful back then, said Naruto, as you remember. Flashback. It was 2 years ago. The forest surrounding Konoha. Mizuki, how could you betray the village like this? How could you betray me like this? A younger Hana screamed at the white-haired man holding a bloody kunai and a large scroll in the other hand. Simple really, I need to prove my worth to the hidden stone, and stealing the scroll of forbidden stealing is the way to do it. As for you, Hana, I can't say it wasn't fun, because it was. I mean, it was awesome. But that was just stress relief, knowing that my time was going to come very soon when I would have to take on this dangerous mission to take the scroll of forbidden stealing. But damn, it was fun. I remember the way you used your tongue. That thing that you did. If I could take you with me to convince you to come. But I know you. You would never go for that. Hana clenched her fist. The rest of her team had been killed by traps laid out for them set by Mizuki himself. She was totally alone. Her dogs were unconscious, as she already used up so much of her chakra. She was just a new Chunin, and Mizuki was higher than her, as he was already in the ranks before her. Not to mention one of the traps went off near her, and she had a deep wound on her shoulder. She didn't know how she was going to get out of this one. As Mizuki saw the look in her eyes, I see. You finally realize that there's nothing you can do, he said, with a smirk on his face. And I doubt that the hidden stone will let you come with me. It will take too long for them to trust you. They'll probably think that you're a spy, that he is trying to converse me to return back to Konoha. So, sorry. I'm gonna let you decide how you die, he says. He pointed the kunai towards her. As Hana reached towards the kunai, he threw the kunai towards her hand, making her move back. As he rushed and appeared in front of her, grabbing her by the hair, picking her up as he licked her cheek. Just like strawberries, he said. Hana used momentum to drop her body weight down on him as he grabbed him with her other arm as she bit down into his neck hard. Get off me, you bitch, he said as he started to bleed badly. As she kept on biting down, he stabbed her in the stomach with a kunai, throwing her against a tree. As she hit it hard, he grabbed his neck. Damn it, he says, he held on to his neck. He got up. Fine. I thought I would be generous, to let you choose the easier method to die, but I guess. As he raised the kunai up in the air, sorry, as he brought it down, but a large wave of flames came towards him, forcing him to leap back. Mizuki landed. The man was still fresh after all. He didn't actually have to fight her teammates. They were just fresh tunings, and his traps had slaughtered most of them. The only person he had to fight was Hana, and he was already leagues above her. After all, she was just a fresh tuning as well, and he was at this for a long while. So he was still in a good fighting shape, looking around, looking if one of her teammates had survived, trying to find the person. As he looked forward to see a man in front of Hana, his back was turned to him. Mizuki wondered who could be this arrogant to turn his back to the enemy. Hana just saw this man appear in front of her, as he started to heal her wounds. If he had tried to kill her, she couldn't do anything because she was too weak to do anything, but he was helping her. And not to mention the clothing that he wore. He was a Konoha shinobi. Just who the hell are you, said Mizuki. But the man did not react. He didn't even turn and look at Mizuki. As the man looked up as Hana saw his beautiful purple eyes. Despite the bad state that she was in, she had to say, his eyes were beautiful. Well, she didn't say it out loud. Try not to move until I'm finished healing you, alright? As Hana nodded. As he continued, Mizuki growled angrily who the hell this man think he was. As Naruto then stood up. Hey, I'm just a shinobi passing by, but I overheard your conversation with this young woman, so I decided to say hi, said Naruto, his face covered by the half mask. Well, if you don't want to die, I suggest you leave, because if you don't, you're gonna die soon. Well then, I guess we have a predicament here. As Naruto flashed through a few hand signs. Summoning technique, he said, as he slammed his hand on the ground. Raising his hand, the ground cracked open as a katana came out, a red hilt inside of a black sheet. As he pulled the blade out with his thumb, right at the tip, as he cut his thumb as he pulled it out. So the front of the blade was covered with his blood. As he muttered, release. Crimson ash. The blade turned into flames, ignited by the blood on it. As he swung it a few times, the thing was completely detached from the blade. The handle that he was holding onto, the flame was not connected to it, but wherever he swung it, the flame would follow. Mizuki stepped a foot back, as something like that was not common. No normal shinobi could control fire like that to that degree. Well, Mizuki said, That's a nice looking blade. Seems I'll have a new one after this is done. If you believe you can take this from me, you might as well try, said Naruto. Or you can give her back that scroll. Put your head to the ground and beg for forgiveness. Perhaps you will get it. But if you don't, I assure you, any route that you pick from now won't be pleasant at all. Mizuki growled at that. As Hana noticed the man's body, there was a small, purple thread coming from him. As she focused, it was chakra. Is his body actually radiating off chakra? She had never heard of visible chakra except for certain A-rank jutsus or higher, but yet it was coming off of him, like a leech. You think you can scare me, said Mizuki. Well, lucky, I learned something from this scroll. He brought his hand together. Multi-Shadow Jutsu. 25 Mizuki popped into existence. He didn't have enough chakra to make any more. It's a shame, you waste so much chakra on something that won't help you, said Naruto as he swung the blade in a wide arc, wiping out all of the clones and burning several trees into ash. Mizuki had tried to flee, but the flame had slammed into him. It did not completely reduce into ash like the others, or the trees. As Mizuki was on the ground in agonizing pain, a large burning gash across his chest and arms. Mizuki screamed because the flames, they were still there as he tried to pat them out. But the more he pat, the more it burned into his skin. And the more it burned into his skin, the more it went deeper and deeper. The man screamed in anguish and agony. But whatever he did, as he tried to roll, he tried to pat them out, but nothing was working. The flames were getting hotter and still burning. You can't put those out, said Naruto. I'm the only one that can call it back. So, giving up. How about you put that fancy sword down and get away from here before that bitch dies? As Naruto turned, as there was another Mizuki holding on to Hana, a cone at her throat. I missed one. Must be losing my edge. As he sheathed the blade and threw it towards the ground. Now move, said Mizuki. As Naruto stepped back, Mizuki, with the fire now gone from him, as that died down the moment he closed the blade, started to lean towards it, until Hana saw the man raise his hand, as the sword flew up in the air and stabbed right through the head of the clone. As it dispersed, a blood-curdling scream could be heard until it went silent. As Hana was confused, why did Mizuki scream? She then saw as the man split directly in half when the blade had come up. It tear right through him, as both half of him dropped to either side. If she wasn't so completely exhausted, she would have probably be on her knees hurling right now. The man raised his arm as his sword flew back towards him as he caught it in his hand. As he resheathed the blade, as it simply poofed out of existence, as the man started to walk back towards her, as she felt fear, although he just saved her, there was just something about him. As Konoha ninjas don't ruthlessly kill someone like that, if they had the power to bring them back to make them pay for their crimes. So she was afraid. She was afraid if this man was gonna rape her, turn her into a slave, or kill her. This world was a messed up, cruel place, so her mind went to those thoughts. She was defenseless to help herself. She couldn't do anything, as she closed her eyes, too weak to move. Until nothing happened. He kneeled in front of her. She felt her body actually feeling better. I just finished healing the rest of your wounds, so you should be able to move around freely now. But I suggest taking it easy for a while until you regain enough chakra, he said, in a warm tone. Hana stood there shocked, as he held out his hand. She took it, as he pulled her back up to her feet. The man moved over, and to her surprise he started to heal her dog. She's pretty cute, isn't she, Naruto-san? Not so, I said, inside his head, as Naruto simply nodded. As Hana looked around, his flame attack seemed to be something completely different than she thought, because there was also slices over all the trees, like there was some blades or something inside, despite the flame being nothing but a flame. Because she didn't see the sword anymore, the tip or the sharpness, it was just flames. But the place was completely scorched from one single swipe. This man was powerful, incredibly so. She moved towards the scroll as she picked it up. Sorry for your team, said Naruto, but there's nothing more you can do for them. You should go back to Konoha and alert the Hokage about what happened here. As he started to walk away in the forest. Hey, wait! What's your name? As he paused. I don't need thanks for recognition of what I did. I simply did what was right, as he turned, as he gave her a slight eye smile. Before he vanished, Hana stood there, wondering if she was hallucinating or something in the flashback, but today, she finally saw him again. It was all real, as Hana remembered that day, where her squad that she was sent out on had died. I've been fine since then, she said. He offered her a slight smile, slightly visible through his mask. That's good. You're a strong-willed woman, and a good kunoichi, he said. It's why I left you on your own back then. I knew that you could handle yourself after I healed you. As the both of them stood up after getting all the groceries back in the bag, as she couldn't look him directly in the eyes, as she felt her cheeks getting a bit hot. Sorry about yelling at you before. It's quite alright. I should have paid attention to where I was going. As he looked at the groceries, I assume that you're walking home because of the groceries. Would you mind I walk you home? It's the least I could do for bumping into you and delaying you, he said. I appreciate the gesture, but my house is right there. As Naruto saw the H symbol right at the gate in Uzaka. Oh, alright then. Will I delay you enough? I'll let you get inside, said Naruto. Be safe, Hana. I'll probably see you around. He knew her name. Hey, wait! Tell me, what's your name, she asked. I want to know. As he stopped. Well, let me ask you first. That demon brat that left the village all those years ago, what do you think of him? Don't you dare call him that, she said. As Naruto blinked at that. He's not any demon. He housed the Kyuubi, and he protects us all, but some of these people are just too ignorant to notice that. So don't call him a demon. He's just a simple child that has been through a lot, which resulted in him leaving. But it must be better for him out there wherever he is. At least I hope it is. After all, no child deserves something like that. So, don't call him that ever again. Understand me? Although she doesn't know you, she seemed to be a good person. After all, majority of the village was so ignorant, but yet she is not. She's gonna be quite embarrassed when she finds out though, said the Kyuubi. I want to know as well because I've never met her before, said Naruto. And yet she's acting so protective of me. Well, she's certainly in my books of people I like. Okay, sorry, I didn't know that people even like him. And more so since he left. I won't call him a demon again, I promise. As she looked into his eyes, fine. Me and my family know that boy doesn't deserve what he gets. Because he's just an innocent boy who's protecting us all. So don't call him that ever again. Hey, what the hell's going on? People are trying to sleep. Oh, Hana, it's you. Hey, what's going on out here? A woman emerged. Huh? Hana, who's that? Oh, Mom, I was just coming back with some groceries when I bumped into my friend here. Oh, well, get you and your friend inside so you can continue talking without waking the neighbors. I get enough complaints about the kennels. I don't need complaints about my kids too. As Tatsumi looked at Naruto. Finally, after 2 long years, she's finally talking to a man outside of her team. Hopefully, this will lead somewhere. Hana has been through a lot after what Mizuki did. Like he said, Hana had trusted him. She liked him. Yes, she really liked him. And something inside of her broke that day when he betrayed her. And Tatsumi had been worried for her daughter ever since. She didn't talk to any other guys except for her teammates. She didn't seem to trust any other guy. It was weird. When it comes to a romantic relationship, that part of her seemed to be dead. But at least, she was talking to this guy right now. And this fellow, he's not too bad in the eyes. As Naruto was invited inside the Inuzuka compound. The place was large, as his nose was hit by the smell of dog though. But the place felt rather comfy. It felt homey, where the Inuzukas were friendly and family-loving people. Please make yourself at home, Mr. said Tatsumi, waiting for a name. Truth be told, I would like to talk to both of you if you don't mind. There's something I have to ask you before I introduce myself. Tatsumi quirked the eyebrow. He seemed defensive about naming himself. Alright, she said. I'll make us some tea then. He looked around the room, noticing a few pictures here and there. As Hana came back in the room, as Naruto's eyes slightly widened a bit as she had removed her snug uniform that she was wearing. That red cannot touch this alpha bitch. And it also showed off her size of a bust, which she failed to realize from previous meetings, and she was wearing a short black shorts, and her hair was tied behind her in a ponytail. Wow. Oh, calm down dear Naruto-kun, Natsumi said. But still, I didn't think that she was packing that kind of heat under that Chunin vest and doctor uniform. Naruto-kun? As Naruto said nothing, making Natsumi chuckle a bit. As Natsumi burst out laughing and realized why he wasn't talking. It was a good thing the table was in front of him. Hey, did you even hear what I said? Asked Hannah, as she sat down at the table. As Hannah sniffed, she smelled the scent of arousal. Huh, the bastard is ogling me like a piece of meat. And he also disrespected Naruto earlier. And he's also making it so obvious. Sorry, said Naruto, there was something important in my mind. Would you mind repeating? I said, just because my mom invited you inside, do not forget what I said outside. I made you a promise, I don't plan on breaking it. And it was important why I asked my question. Tea is ready, said Tatsumi as she came in. And what was so important? Well, Mom, I should tell you, this was a man that saved me from Mizuki 2 years ago, said Hannah. Tatsumi was shocked. She was so grateful for whoever it was that saved her daughter back then. As Tatsumi had told her if it wasn't for that person, she would have died. But yet they weren't able to find anyone. His scent also just seemed to vanish. Thank you. Thank you so much for saving my daughter, she said. It's alright, said Naruto. I'd already told her I don't need thanks for what I did. I just did. Because it was the right thing to do. That Mizuki person had no right to betray the village like he did. Or, more than less, treat Hannah the way he did. And I'm just happy to see that she has gotten back to her feet. I wouldn't have liked for her to be sulking after what that asshole did. Still, thank you. And please call me Tatsumi, she said with a smile. Anyway, Mom, I didn't get his name back then. But he just answered my question on another question. What do I think of the demon boy, Naruto Uzumaki, who left the village 6 years ago? Tatsumi turned back to Naruto. A rather angry expression now. I had the same reaction. Just a bit louder, said Hannah. But I did answer his question, but he never answered mine. He didn't tell me his name. Well, before I do that, can you please elaborate on why you said that your family and you will always be loyal to that boy? I will admit to you, I know him quite well in fact. But I don't recall him mentioning his talks about your clan when I talked to him about Konoha. That was the reason I phrased my question the way I did. I purposely did it to see the reaction I went out to Hannah. Knowing Naruto the way I do, he'd be rather angry if I befriend anyone that hate him in this village. I heard from the boy how many stories of how he was treated here. So I had to make sure I know Hannah feeling about him first before I could say anything. Tatsumi passed out a cup of tea before she spoke. Well, we may not look it, but the Inazaki clan was the personal bodyguards of Minato Namikaze, the fourth Hokage, who was Naruto's father. Whenever he left the village for anything, we were always by his side to protect him. But after he settled down with Kushina Uzumaki, Naruto's mother, our priority changed. He had ordered our clan to protect him and his family, since they were an extension of himself. We accepted our new charge rather easily, and for a time things were normal, until the Kyuubi attacked him. Being a Konoha shinobi yourself, I'm sure that you know the history, so I won't bore you with the details. Anyway, after the battle, the fourth Hokage was dead, but his wife and son were still alive. But we continued with our missions to protect the boy and his wife. However, 2 years after the attack, Kushina, along with her clan, left Konoha, but not before exiling Naruto and leaving him to the savages out there in the village. As of that moment, I rescinded the protection over her. She left her only child, and that, to us Inuzakas, were just unforgivable. After a few days he was put in the orphanage, I went to the Hokage and asked if I could adopt him, but he wouldn't allow it. The council would never allow something like that, and the villagers' hates were turned into anyone that seemed to favor the boy. And Hiruzen didn't want another clan to leave the village, and the council members were all against everything about the boy being adopted. They banned anyone from adopting the boy ever. But he stated he would do his best to make sure Naruto was okay. So from then on, we just protected him from the shadows. But with the Hokage giving my clan missions on a daily basis, it was hard to protect him as we hoped. But 4 years after Kushina's departure, Naruto vanished from the village, and we haven't seen him since. But even so, we still remain loyal to that boy, to protect him, and his reputation here as best as we could, even though things have gotten out of hand. It was the wish from our greatest hero, and we will honor it no matter what, she said. Naruto sat there, he was surprised. He never knew anyone cared about him that much other from Jiji. They were even planning on adopting him. Oh well, Naruto-kun, not everyone in this village is stupid and rather idiotic. There had to be at least a few that can see above their ignorance and choose to accept you for who you are. Yeah, you're right as usual, said Naruto with a smile. Thank you for your explanation, said Naruto, that answer. Lingering questions I had, he said as he took a sip of his tea. Hannah had a keen eye on him. He was watching her mother intently, and there was so much emotion that went through his face at that moment. It was like he was happy, saddened by one part, and thankful. Okay, we answer your question, now answer ours. Who are you? And how do you know Naruto? And also, where is he? And is he alright? Should I tell them? Said Naruto. Well, after that story, I think it's okay. I can't imagine another group, other than the Hokage, knowing everything. After all they did. Well, they deserve to know. You're right, said Naruto. You want to stretch your leg for a bit? Sure. A clone would be fine, she said. As Naruto noticed both women still staring at him, because he hadn't spoken in a long while. Well, I can answer your questions, but in the opposite order you asked them, if that's alright. The both of them nodded. Naruto is perfectly fine right now. He's perfectly healthy in his training in the shinobi arts. And if I may say, he's quite good, but that's besides the point. And I know Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze because... As he looked at both of them. Before he went through Hansen, there was a poof beside him. Because I am him, said Naruto. The smoke clear. As Naruto was to his real form, Natsuma was the one that came out of the smoke sitting there beside him. What? Is this some sick joke, said Tatsumi as her dog came around the corner, ready at her side as usual. You aren't Naruto. You look nothing like him. Please wait, said Naruto. I really am him. Just give me a moment to explain. As Hana looked at the man in front of her, his eyes had changed, his ears. Hana looked at him, but there was look in his eyes. She could see it. Mom, I think he's telling the truth. Tatsumi looked towards her daughter. As she started looking in her daughter's eyes, she turned back to him. You have 1 minute to explain, she said. As Naruto thanked them. Well, I somehow doubt that words will prove my heritage. So, I'll show you a select technique that my father created. As Naruto held out his hand as a ball, a purple ball started to swirl in his palm. Rasengan? Said Tatsumi. Tatsumi was shocked that he was able to master that jutsu. Only one other person was able to master that jutsu. But not only that, swirling wings were also inside the ball. He seemed to have took it a step further. Amazing. Naruto disobeyed the Rasengan. Well, I hope this proved to you who I really am, he said. Because of your clan history with my dad. I'm sure you know only a select few can learn this jutsu, he said. Because of the difficulty and power of this jutsu. And since my dad is dead, and I'm obviously in Konoha, and not with the Uzumaki clan, I can only be a blood relative. And Namikaze Minato only had one son, and that was me. Plus, who else do you know, as he pulled down his face mask, have whisker marks on their face, as he was tackled by a almost crying Tatsumi who was happy to see him, as she couldn't believe it was really him. The Inuzakas always go on their feelings. Yes, sometimes they were brash, sometimes they were angry, but sometimes they were just lovable. Naruto, it's you. I'm so happy that you're back, she said. She was angry at herself for so long. After all, Minato had given them a job, and yet she lost Naruto, unable to protect him, unable to fulfill the wish that Hokage left her and her clan to watch over. Thank you, said Naruto. Thank you for watching over me, and sorry for making you worry about me for so long. Well, I'm glad things work out here. I was afraid things would get a bit messy if he wasn't able to explain himself. Natsuma, I said. The both of them didn't pay attention to her. Sorry, but who are you? Hana asked. Well, I just want to wait till Naruto can finish his introduction till I do mine. This is Natsuma, said Naruto, my companion. She has been with me since I left the village 6 years ago. Yes, I have, she said as she placed her head on his shoulder and hugged his arm. Why is she getting so close to him, Hana thought. Wait, why do I care if she's getting so close to Naruto-kun? Wait, did I just say kun? She thought to herself. Seems he might be taken after all. But I thought you'd be so good for Hana, Tatsumi thought to herself. Well, I'm rather surprised to be honest. When I went to go see JJ and Yamato, they freaked about how I look, but you guys don't seem surprised at all. Well, look at us, we have inherited canine traits thanks to our named dogs. Slitted eyes, slight fangs and claws, increased sense of smell, and etc. You would look a lot different to most people, but to our clan you don't look that much different from us. Well, the pointy ears and the tail. Though, where did you get them from? Well, I'll be explaining everything tomorrow at 9 AM at JJ's office, said Naruto. So you guys should come, he said. You can bring along any other Inuzakas, he said. I'll tell my clan about it, she said. Thanks, said Naruto. But I'm really exhausted. So I'm gonna see you guys tomorrow, he said as he got to his feet. As he went through Hansen, there was a poof. As Natsuma vanished, as he returned back to normal. As he gave her a sharp bow. Thank you for all you did for me. You are more from mom to me than my biological mother. Kushina Uzumaki spat out a name with a lot of hardship in his voice. Really? But I'm actually glad that you didn't adopted me, said Naruto. What? She said. Well, it would have been rather awkward, seeing that I would have asked my sister if she wanted to go and get something to eat with me after my talk with the Hokage tomorrow, said Naruto. Kasumi blinked at that as she looked towards Hana. Hana has not been dating anyone for the past 2 years, and she was kind of worried about her daughter, seeing that she was closing herself off completely to everyone. Well, every guy that asked her out. As she glanced towards her daughter, she wondered what she was going to say. Hana was shocked at that. That girl that was with him a moment ago. They seemed rather close, and for him to just ask her out so bluntly, as she was busy talking to her subconscious on what to do. As she wondered if he was like the other man that just wanted one thing. Like how Mizuki used her for only one thing. No. You can see it in his eyes. He's completely different. Look at him. He's blushing. Other guys will already move on if they don't get that one thing. If they ask you for a date and you linger for this long, I can tell. Just try it out, okay? It's been 2 years, girl. As her inner voice is talking to her, like someone is actually there. Yes, Naruto-kun, she said. I would love to have dinner with you tomorrow. Oh, alright then, said Naruto. As he gave her a smile. Well, I'll be off then. See you tomorrow, Hana-chan. And Mom, he said, looking towards Tasumi, who couldn't believe that he actually just called her that. It actually made her really happy. After all, she was planning on taking him as her son. And to hear him call her that, it made her feel so happy. As he waved goodbye as he left, Hana sat back down as Tasumi looked over to her. I'm glad that you accepted, she said. Happy for her daughter. Time skip. At the Namikaze mansion, the blood seal was still active around the mansion as Naruto deactivated as he entered. As he dropped his transformation and summoned Natsume, who tackled him as the both of them dropped on one of the beds. Well, that was a rather interesting day back, isn't it, Naruto-kun, she said. Sure was. And I'm also happy it works out in the end, said Naruto. I still can't believe the Inusakas care about me so much. For Tasumi to go as far as to adopt me. You know, she would have made a wonderful mother, said Naruto. Well, I'm just surprised that people are still loyal to the 40 Kage's wish after so long. You can tell that those people are really caring, said Natsume. As Naruto started to strip off his clothes, left only in his boxers as he was left in a red nightgown. As Naruto started to check her out, beacon at her blush. After all these years, still can't get used to the sight, huh? Well, it's so wonderful, how could I, he said as he lay down. As she saw that he was really exhausted. But you're too tired, she said. After everything, well, you should be, she said. As she wrapped him up with her tails, as his tails also curled around her. Good night, my Crimson Queen, he said. Good night, Foxy-sama, she said. The next morning, Hokage's office. It was almost 9 a.m. As Sarutobi and Yamato was there until the door opened. Tasumi, Hana-san, what are you two doing here? I'm sorry, but I have an important meeting very soon, and this one can't be disturbed. I hope you understand and can wait until I'm finished talking, he said. Well, actually, that's why we're here. Naruto invited us to this meeting last night. Oh, I just wish he had told me. I thought it was just only gonna be me and Yamato. Well, if you wish to inform you guys as well, I don't see any problem with that, Hirsen said. Thank you, Hokage-sama, she said. As the clock touched 9, I hope everyone had a good sleep last night. As Natsume and Naruto was there in their true forms. As everyone seemed to nod at that. Good. This is a rather long story, so I suggest we all grab a seat. As Naruto smiled at Hana. A different smile than he gave Tasumi. As Hana saw that look in his eyes, there was just something lustful about his eyes. Alright, said Naruto as they all took a seat. First thing first, demon art, he said. Sound sensing barrier technique. The purple aura came from his arm and spread around the entire room. As, just as the jutsu implied, complete silence, no one from the outside could hear them. Alright, said Naruto, as we dive into a flashback. Naruto has done so many things, and gone so many places over the elemental nation, and it was time that he told them what happened, and the things that happened to him out there. We return back to a 6-year-old Naruto. At the point his mental age was 6, as he was currently in the forest. It was 6 years ago. A red flame appeared out of nowhere and dissipated as Naruto was sitting there, panting heavily. Take deep breaths, Naruto, said the Kyuubi. Yeah, said Naruto as he rasped out. It took him a good 3 minutes as he recovered his breathing. As he looked around, he didn't recognize any part of this forest. Kyuubi-sensei, where am I? He said. We're currently at the border of Fire Country. Wait, what? The border? We were just a few miles away from Konoha. A few minutes ago, said Naruto. Remember I told you I can influence you physically or mentally, anytime I please. Well, I used all of my techniques to get you here. And as I told you, we're here for training. You are still protected in the land of fire. But I don't want any interruption in your training, hence, while we're at the border, there shouldn't be anyone around here so soon to look for you. And by then we will be gone. Naruto nodded as he sat down, crossing his legs. Before we begin, there's a lot I have to teach you, which you'll have to sit through and listen to everything, and not get bored and slack off. Do you understand me? Yes, Kyuubi-sensei. Good. Now try to find a nice spot to rest. I want you to get some sleep. Tomorrow you will begin your training. Naruto nodded as he found a good spot. Under a large tree, the base of it was open up. As he crawled under, inside was rather spacious. As he pulled out his sleeping mat and lay there. As he fell asleep rather quickly under there. In his mindscape, Naruto woke up to his mindscape as he wasn't frightened this time. Welcome back, Naruto, said the Kyuubi. As Naruto moved to the golden bars. Why am I here, Kyuubi-sensei? He asked. Because I want to speed up the process of training you, the Kyuubi said. As the Kyuubi closed his eyes. When he opened his eyes, there was a violent, red spark that fly around the entire area. I just activate my time quickening technique inside your mind. As the name suggested, it actually quickened the time in your mind. Or if you want to go another route, it makes it seem like time. Slow down the real world. The advantage of this is I can teach you as much in your head than I ever could teach you outside. The side effect though, because your mind is speeding up, your mental age will also grow faster. The Kyuubi saw the confused look on Naruto's face. Alright, listen to me, she said. I'll make it simple. If you spend 2 hours in here listening to me, in the real world, it will only be 1 hour that has passed. While your mental state will have still grew 2 hours. Understood? He thought for a moment before he nodded as he understood that. You're saying my mind will grow faster but time is still normal outside, right? As the fox nodded. So, are you gonna be teaching me something now, Kyuubi-sensei? He asked. Yes, because it's your first time, I'll go easy. But don't expect me to be lenient later. First, I'll teach you the history of shinobis and chakra. As Naruto sat down and listened to the fox, sharing its wisdom on him, many hours went by after she showed off how a fire technique worked, finishing her lecture for today. Alright, Naruto. It has been about 16 hours in here, so your body should be physically rested enough to begin the physical training I have for you today. Okay, Kyuubi-sensei. I'll be leaving now, said Naruto. That session was cool. I didn't think shinobis were so fancy, he said. As Naruto returned back to the real world, as Naruto was still shocked to realize only 8 hours had passed, while he was in there for 16 hours. Alright, grab some breakfast from your backpack and stretch. Then we will begin your physical training. As Naruto did as he was told. Alright now. First I want to do 200 push-ups, 200 sit-ups, 200 log kicks, 200 log punches, 200 chin-ups, and a 5-mile run. You might think this is a lot for your first day, but I am here, I'll help you. And this is important for your physical abilities. You need to be able to give and take blows. I suggest that you start on your running first. As Naruto nodded as he did as he was told after he was done with everything. Despite him being exhausted after a while, he was still happy. He would go through it all because it was a way of becoming stronger. The way of becoming a real shinobi. Once he was finished with that, he went back into his mindscape as the Kyuubi teach him how to control his chakra physically, like enhancing his body, enhancing his blows, enhancing his kicks, as Naruto was shocked by the things that she said he could do with an enhanced body. Naruto was a bit annoyed that he had to reteach himself out of his mind everything that he learned, but he was still excited. He was about to learn how to use chakra. After many hours of lectures, trial and error, he finally got a grasp on his chakra. As he started getting the idea of the things he could do, the Kyuubi told him something. I see you're fairly decent at the grasp of your chakra already. Well, I shouldn't be that impressed with your mother, Genkai and all. As she paused, knowing that it was rather taboo to him. As his grin faded away and his eyes seemed to get angry. So, Kushina left me a Genkai, huh? What is it? Will it be more useful to me than she was, Naruto asked. The Kyuubi steeled itself, as she knew how Naruto feel about the situation. I would say so. It's actually one of the strongest Genkais I've come across. It may not be a dojutsu like the Sharingan of the Uchiha clan, or a Byakugan like the Hyuga clan that is inside of Konoha, but in sheer ingenuity, raw power, I doubt anything could actually match it. Sadly though, because it doesn't have a physical outward attribution, the Uzumaki clan never came across the name yet. However, I did learn what it was entailed before I was sealed. For all intents purposes, it's chakra, multiplier, their key Genkai bestowed upon them. Literally 4 times the reserve that normal people have. The best example I can give you is yourself actually. After you were born, prior my sealing you already had the chakra reserves of a mid-level genin. For being a newborn baby, that's rather amazing for most people. But this is normal for Uzumakis. But after I was placed in your reserves shot through the ceiling. After the ceiling was finished, your reserves jump the tuning level. Before you were even 1 year old, the Uzumaki could use harder level jutsus at a younger age. Maximize the jutsus by flooding it with chakra to make it more destructive and chaotic. And after a time they made their own jutsu style name after themselves. They took version of Fire Country jutsus and hybridized them their own Genkai. But thanks to my training, we'll be diving deeper and explore more about it, she said. As Naruto absorbed all of that. Although he hated his mother and their entire clan for what they did, he could not deny the Uzumaki blood and Kekkei Genkai that he currently had. He would use it and make it his own. Thanks, Kyuubi sensei, I'm sure it will help, said Naruto. Wait, you said one of my Kekkei Genkais. Do I have more? Actually, you have 3. The third one is my own, but the second one, it belongs to your dad's side. Just like the Uzumakis, it had no outward manifestation, so it doesn't have a name. Your father was able to move incredibly fast because of the Harashin, but his body had adapted. Because of his Kekkei Genkai, he could speed up the cells in his body without having his internal organs or his bone crushed. That is why no one else has been able to master the Harashin to the degree that your father has done it before. He has refined the jutsu to an incredible degree because his body is naturally fast, his cells inside of him constantly speeding up, and with your ridiculous amount of chakra, you can use it a lot better. As for your third, I like to call it the demon limit. As I digress, when you get older and gain more of my chakra, you'll absorb more and gain most of my abilities. But you don't have to worry about that, we still have a long way to go and a lot of training to be done. As Naruto started to laugh, so you're pretty much telling me when I get older I'm gonna be a great awesome shinobi after all your training? Well, I wasn't being exaggerating when I told you after all my training you'll be the strongest shinobi that this realm has ever seen before. But don't let that attitude go to your head. You will still have to survive my training, Naruto, because I'll be increasing everything now that you know how much you have to push hard. Yes, said Naruto, I won't let you down. Alright then, let's start it up back with your physical training. As Naruto nodded, when Naruto woke up as he stretched, he went and got some breakfast before he got ready. As the time passed, his training started to increase even more. 8 months passed out there. As Naruto just stopped after finishing his reps, he was up to 2,100 for every exercise, every push-up, every sit-ups, everything. 2,100, and he was running 50 meters. He started to water walk, tree walk, weapon exercise, and he started to learn the substitution, the transformation, and the clone. Thanks to all of this, Naruto looked a lot more fit than he did before. Yes, amazingly so. But they had to move on to a different place. They had been moving over and over because any Konoha shinobi coming nearby to find him, so they had to keep on moving. No, they had to move on, but thanks to that, Naruto's becoming a lot fit, being able to handle himself against any bandit that might come his way. But he still had a long way to go, and because of the constant training in his mindscape, his mental state has also grown as well. But they hardly started, but they had to move on to another place first. And the Kyuubi had the idea in her mind on the right place they should go to. But guys, be in subscribe right here. If you want to see the next part, do like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on the bell notifications they posted. Remember, share to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode over on Anime King 3 of What If Naruto Was Neglected with Jashin sealed inside of him, and enjoy that guys. And also over on Anime King, I post a brand new episode of What If Naruto Was the Ultimate Legendary Uzumaki, so go ahead and enjoy that as well guys. And remember, if you're new, to go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. And yeah, without further ado, I'm out for now. See you guys soon. Peace.